Hello, this is yours truly, Terry, and welcome to another exciting episode of Smooches in the City, where curves are bold, confident, and beautiful. Today we have testimonial tees designer Charmaine Terry. Stay tuned for that interview. Welcome Charmaine Terry to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Charmaine.
How are you?
Welcome to Smooches in the City.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, great. So, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Testimonial tees.
Yes.
Where did this inspiration come from?
Well, some 5 or 6 years ago, I was involved with a mentoring group called Girl Talk. And it was quite interesting to hear each individual story that each young lady had. And there were always issues with self-acceptance and loving oneself. So that's when I came up with the t-shirt for Amazing Me, letting them know that everyone is amazing. And then there was another one with Psalms 39, which basically says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I wanted them to know that God made each and every one of us wonderful in our own way and to celebrate their uniqueness. So that's where it all started.
Awesome. Now, the testimonies, are they yours per se or, other people?
No, there's basically, a lot of it was inspirational from the Bible. Like I said, the Psalms 139 one. And then some things, it was just, I wanted to put a different spin on a lot of things that were quite negative that I felt. Single people out and try to make it a twist on it so everybody can feel good about it. Like the tagline MCM for, what is it, Man Crush Monday. And then there was this one, the WCW. It's like I turned it into Wise Conscious Woman. So it was just a different spin on everything. So
okay. And what sizes do you carry?
I carry anything from extra small to 2XL. At the time.
So for us curvy women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there specific colors that you have, or the range is wide, or?
Yeah, the range is wide. Mostly, like people like black most of the time. So so black, red, purple, whatever you want.
And what about shipping? Or, just ordering the product? What's the turnaround?
Right now, we're mainly on Instagram and Facebook. And what people generally do, they'll send me a DM, letting me know their size and giving me their email. So through the email, I send them a PayPal invoice. And they usually pay that way. And we've also been involved in different, events throughout the city, and we'll vend there.
Okay, so PayPal is a form of payment, obviously.
Yes, PayPal.
Okay, and what about for those, do you actually meet up with people to do a cash transaction, or?
Yes, we also do, most of the time a lot of people actually come to my home, or I'll meet them somewhere to deliver goods. Or like I said, we had a lot of events where we do hand-to-hand cash, and then we also take the card with the swipe with the little square. I put in my phone, and they can pay by a credit card.
Okay, and so where can people find you?
Like I said, on Instagram, I can be you can reach out to me at testimonial_tees, and on Facebook at the original testimonial tees.
Okay. Well, I'm loving it. I have to tell you, I do have a green shirt, and it is awesome. The color is beautiful, vibrant colors.
Yes.
One last thing I wanted to know, as far as seasonal, what do you carry as far as seasonal?
Well, we try to do the long sleeve tees and the sweatshirts, but surprisingly, people generally just want to go with the t-shirt.
Just a regular old t-shirt.
Yes, so I find a lot of my female clients, they just throw it on with a blazer and some jeans during the fall and the winter. And a lot of the guys, they want the hoodies, but that's why I'm trying to reach more men. It's more women at the time, but I have a few ideas for the fellas also.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Charmaine, for sharing that information. Now let's take a look at the testimonial tees by Miss Charmaine Terry. again, thank you, Charmaine, for coming out to Smooches in the City.
Thanks for having me.
And there you have it. Please check out her testimonial t-shirt line. Next up on Smooches in the City, Marla will discuss Kmart's new fashion line designed specifically for us, women of curves. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
Hi, my name is Marla Folks of Smooches in the City, and today I will be talking about Kmart's fabulously sized clothing line.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Miss Fabulous. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Have you had your boobies checked? Stay tuned with my interview with Deborah Sparks, a breast cancer survivor.
Hi, my name is Marla Folks, and today I will be talking about Kmart and their fabulously sized plus size line. What's happening now is Kmart has decided to change their title of their line. They were known as plus size. Now they'll be known as fabulously sized, which is for full-figured or curvy women. And what we want to do is basically explain to you what they're trying to do and then what you guys think. So Kmart decided in the month of September to roll out in their stores the new size. So that means signage, that means not separating their clothing anymore, and basically having a line for the curvy women. So what we want to do is, when you go into the store, you don't want to be separated. You don't want to have to go to the back of the store because we are fabulous. However, everyone doesn't agree with it, according to the article that's in the Fox News Style and Beauty. We don't want to assume that we should be separate from the rest of the women. Slimmer women are fabulous also, so everyone is not in agreement of the new title of the line. However, it is putting us in the forefront. We've been called several things in the past. We've been called, full-figured. We started off as plus, we moved to full-figured, then we curvy, now we're fabulously sized. What do you think about that? All my curvy dolls out there, curvy divas, what do you think? Do you think we should be separated when we go to the store? If you noticed in the past, we've always had to go to the back of the store. If it was a section for, plus size clothing, we had to go to the rear of the store when it came to shopping. All of the clothing lines, why should we be separated? When we go to the store, shoes aren't separated. When you go and look for your size, all of the shoes are together. So why are we going in our clothing stores and finding that we have a section just for us? Kmart has decided not to do that. So in the future, when you go to their stores, you'll be able to have all the sizes together along with the fabulously sized clothing line. And along with that will be Jacqueline Smith's line that they already carry, but she's coming out with a new collection where they'll have it actually labeled fabulously sized. So we are excited about that. I'm hoping that all the other chains will be able to catch on or get the idea that we don't want to be separated. We do want to have that not that stigma that's attached to being curvy or plus size. Up next in Smooches in the City, we have Miss Fabulous, who has interviewed a breast cancer survivor in honor of October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Welcome back to Smooches in the City. Check out my interview with Deborah Sparks.
Welcome, Deborah Sparks, to Smooches in the City. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous.
Okay, isn't she too cute? It's been about three years since you were diagnosed with breast cancer. Could you please tell us how you found out that you had breast cancer?
Sure. I've always been diligent about going to the doctors, and so when I turned 40 years old, I made my appointment to see my OBGYN, and he followed up and gave me the script to go for my first mammogram. And when I went for my first mammogram, one of the things that they told me was that since it's my first one, that they might want me to come back and do additional testing to get a baseline. So that was all familiar to me. I went in, had my first one. They asked me to come back, did some more testing, did an ultrasound, And I met with the radiologist doctor that day, and they stated that they wanted me to go and get a biopsy.
Now, with speaking to a radiologist the first time that you went in for your mammogram, did that alarm you in any kind of way?
I think I was a little unsure, but the person who was doing the mammogram and the doctor, they said, we do this a lot of times with a lot of women, and we just want to make sure, and it's just precautionary, and so we're going to take a look at it, and we would let you know if something were more alarming.
So with the additional testing that you had done, it was found that you had cancer.
After I had my biopsy, they called me about 3-4 days later, and that's when they told me that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay, what type of breast cancer were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. It was hormonal positive, and it was invasive ductal carcinoma as well as ductal carcinoma in situ.
So you had 2 different types of breast cancer.
Yes, and the ductal carcinoma in situ is the one that's actually in your milk ducts, and the ones that they always say is basically a stage 0. I was told that I had stage 1 breast cancer. However, I was not aware of what treatment plan was going to be until I met with a surgeon.
Now, during this time of finding out that you tested positive with breast cancer, as I know, were you just coming out of breastfeeding, or were you still breastfeeding at this time?
I had stopped breastfeeding probably, my last one I breastfed for the longest, so a little over a year. So my diagnosis was probably maybe about a year or so later after that.
Okay. Now, during your time of breastfeeding, was everything okay with that? Was it normal?
I breastfed all 3 of my children, and
Super mom, isn't she?
oh goodness, with my last child, she breastfed the longest. I've always had a goal to breastfeed for at least a year, and so this one went a little over a year. But what I noticed during that time, now when I look back, is that it was my lower producing breasts as far as producing milk, and maybe that might have been a sign. I just wasn't sure at the time. And then my daughter actually kind of did not want to nurse on that side, so I actually just would pump and then nurse on the other side.
Okay. Now, after finding out that you had breast cancer, what type of treatment did you have done?
So I decided to have a mastectomy. When I met with the breast surgeon, they told me that I actually had opportunity to, well, not opportunity, but the option of having a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. I just needed to figure out what worked best for myself and my family. So I decided to have a mastectomy, and then after that I had chemotherapy. I did not have to have radiation, but I did have to have chemotherapy.
Okay. Now, as a wife and a mother, what struggles did you face during the time of chemo, and also deciding whether or not you were going to have your breast removed?
Well, one of the biggest things I thought of was when I first was diagnosed was about my oldest, because she's in middle school. She had just started middle school, and as we know, girls are going into puberty, so here's something that's happening to me, and whether or not she would start thinking, oh, can this happen to me as well, and be nervous about that. So I was diligent about reading as much information as I could. Sometimes it was a bit overwhelming, but I tried to make sure that I read everything that I need to read. And it was very important for me to make sure that our kids, all 3 of our children, were cared for or nurtured during that time when I might not have been able to do the things that I normally do with them.
Okay. So if there is a message that you would like to share with everyone about breast cancer and mammograms, what would that message be?
I would say that you should definitely get your mammograms. I did not feel anything or notice anything, except for I had a dimple in my on my chest, which is what the radiologist noticed. But if you feel or you're uncertain, you should get your mammograms. You definitely should get a mammogram. You should definitely get second opinions, third opinions, maybe maybe even 4th. There's a lot of information out there, but you just have to find what works for you and what works for your family to navigate through this.
So if people want to hear more about your story or ask you any questions directly, how can they get in contact with you?
They could email me if they'd like. My email address is dcottingham, that's DCOTTINGHAM_2000 I also wanted to just add, if you're interested in looking up more information about breast cancer, there's a local website. It's called breastcancer.org. They have a lot of good information on there. It's one of the sites that I looked at when I was first diagnosed. And I actually met with the founder of the website, is actually a radiation doctor at Lincoln, so I actually met with her at one point.
Well, Deborah Sparks, thank you so very much for sharing your story with us today. And I must say, she's not just, a person who has a lot of faith, but I find you to be very inspirational. And I thank you for believing and entrusting God with your journey. And once again, may God continue to bless you and your family.
Oh, thank you so much.
Smooches ladies, talk about that bass. Come on, Desi, talk about that bass.
Hey you guys, this is your girl Obiama Martin, your accountability coach, and I am here today to talk to you about self-care. Number one, the best gift that you can give to your family and your friends is a healthy you. And in order to do that, you have to be mindful of your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. And so I say to you today, before you tire yourself out taking care of everyone else, have you stopped to make sure that you are taking care of you? So, Again, this is your girl, Obiama Martin, your accountability coach, and this has been your self-care tip.
Hello world, it's your girl Satoria for Smooches in the City. This episode, I'm in the state of New York, the home of icons such as Jay-Z, the birthplace of legends such as Lena Horne, comedians Eddie and Charlie Murphy, a multitude of fashionistas, and a home to my main man, vintage-inspired stylist, designer, and fashion evolutionist, Jerome Juice Andrew. For this episode, I'm taking you to one of the thoroughest boroughs in NY, Brooklyn. I got the opportunity to sit down and talk to Juice of Let Me Dress You, nestled inside Makaja Hats, an eclectic hat store in the heart of BK. But honey, before the interview, I had to check out some of his favorite garments. Hello, it's your girl Satoria for Smooches in the City. I'm right here in the heart of Brooklyn with one of my favorite stylists, my main man Juice. He is right here in the heart of fashion district of the world.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come through and interview you. I've been through the shop, the boutique shop, and I am very inspired, and I love a lot of the pieces that I've seen, and I'm really, really excited for you and what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Okay, so how long have you been in the fashion industry?
About a good 35 years.
A good 35 years. You say it like it's 5 years. I mean, so you've seen fashion come and go. You've seen trends, or not trends, but you've seen designs, come and go, repeat. Right. You've seen trends leave and not come back, and you've seen some great pieces come back.
Well, if you want to think about one thing I say about fashion is like a recycle. Yeah. Every 15 to 20 years, the style will come back.
Yeah.
Like how now you're wearing, they call the shorts. They was called hot pants back in the 70s.
Yeah.
The maxi coats, now they just call them long, like trench coats and stuff. They was wearing maxi coats back then.
Yeah.
Everything you see people wearing today, they wore it back in the 60s and 70s.
Nice.
They just changed it up a little bit and they brought it back into style again. That's why vintage clothes today is so important, because like you can get pieces that they wear now back from the 60s and 70s, and it looks better than some pieces you go into the store and buy today.
So, how do you feel vintage clothing can complement the curvy woman?
How do I feel about vintage clothes? I say like this: if you have some nice pieces, a curvy woman to me will look very elegant because the way they cut, like the way the top fits them. If they big busted, they have like a full cut. The bottom of their dresses, because back then, in them days when curvy women put on dresses, the back of it didn't raise up.
Right.
And the front of it is long. It was cut all the way even, because the craftsmanship of the dresses people made, they took their time and made it. Yeah. Now everything is made in China. Yeah. Where they just run it through a machine.
Right. So what curvy models or celebrities who would you like to work with? Besides me?
Besides you, Gabby.
Okay.
I want to dress Gabby. The young lady that's on the reel.
Okay.
Love.
Okay.
Yes, I definitely would love to style her one time.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they're watching and they would be able to reach out to you so you could...
And I definitely become your personal stylist, especially for your tour.
And I would love you to. I would absolutely love you to. Yes. I will be calling you. Where do you see vintage and curves in the near future?
Where do I see? It's going to be a big thing.
Okay.
Because a lot of curvy women today is like going places where they can find vintage dresses. Even if they have to do some alterations on it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. So if you go buy a vintage dress.
That's well made.
For like $75, $100. And you spend another $25, $50 to get something add on to it or get a piece. To me, it's worth it, because the craftsmanship of the dresses that was made back then, like some of the pieces I showed you see how the craft was done on them?
Absolutely.
That's good quality. Yeah. Good quality clothes.
Yeah, and especially for a curvy woman, because the last thing we want to do is purchase a garment, something that's going to break on us. We don't want to, be sitting down or try to sit down and your pants bust.
Right.
Or, the sleeves are too tight and it breaks underneath. These are curvy girl problems, okay? So we don't want no curvy girl problems. We want to put on a piece of garment and have it complement us and actually stay together,
Yes. Like when I got into a curvy size clothing line a few years ago, about 10 years ago. My main concern was that when they put on the dresses, I wanted to fit them even.
Yeah.
I was using fabric, so like when they put on like a suit jacket and they sit down, it doesn't stretch and open in the front, have that space. I don't like that in women's clothes. So the fabric I was using, the cotton I was using for the jackets, and like the fabric stretched and moved with their body.
Yeah.
When they put it on, they moved with their body with no opening. The pants fitted up, you know, like it didn't gather gaps in the front. It was like tailor made.
Yeah,
and to me, that looks good on a curvy woman.
Yeah, especially when you can have a nice pair of slacks that you don't have that bulge in the front just because it's, you know, you may have a smaller waist, but you got a, you know, you got some butt. You got the hips and the butt. But you know, so we don't want that sagging in the front. You know, I hate that. I hate that. No. Well, I appreciate you, and women of the curvy industry. We definitely appreciate you and what you have done and what you are doing to help us feel more comfortable in our clothes, so we don't have to worry about tugging and jacking and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah. So tell people, where can they find you on social media? If you want to give out a phone number, you know, the address to this beautiful boutique. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff here. It's phenomenal.
Well, you can find me on Facebook under Jerome Andrew. You can find me on Instagram under Vintage Juice. You can email me at juice, Juice, Andrew, Andrew, 16 at gmail.com. And if you want to come to the boutique, it's 942 Atlantic Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, between Washington and Grand. And my phone number is 917-539-3765.
There you go. Thank you so much once again for allowing me to for allowing me to come here and interview you. And that's about it. You know, this is your girl Satoria from Smooches in the City, representing Smooches in the City right here in Brooklyn.
Clinton Hill.
Okay, ladies, so today I got a chance to talk about Kmart's new fabulously sized collection, which is for curvy women. So I want to hear you girls' opinion about how do you feel about us being separated when you go to the clothing store and you see a section just for us. How do you feel about that?
Well, most of the time I feel disappointed, because the area or the area that they designated for the big girls, it's not really a lot to choose from. I kind of like there's a store, Old Navy.
Yes.
They have our sizes mixed in with everyone else's, so I find that to be easier to shop that way.
And that's exactly what Kmart is doing.
Okay.
So along with what they changed, you know, certain collections will be labeled fabulously sized, but they are actually mixing the sizes in, so we won't have our own section for plus anymore, which is awesome.
Yes, I like the mix in too. I think.
Yes.
I prefer to mix in.
I do too.
I prefer
and I like the title that they have used to fabulously sized.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
We are.
Fabulous.
Yes. That makes it a lot easier.
Yes, honey.
Yes.
So, Obi, you think that together is better?
Well, especially for someone who does not like to shop. So when I go into the store, I want to see what I want to see and get my size and be out. So I think it's great.
Yeah, so it's actually removing that stigma that we used to have, because, you know, we moved from that plus to full figure to curvy and now fabulously sized.
Love it.
But it's, you know, do we still, you know, if it's in the back of the store, yeah, we're going to have a problem with that. I mean, I've always had a problem looking for my size. And then I got to go to the rear. Like, really?
I find it too that if the sizes are mixed in, we have more of what's trending.
Yes.
Versus like, you know, sometimes you find that plus size clothes, when they have it separate, is more matronly.
Yes.
Just in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
So now they're kind of like forced to make clothes that are designed more trendier for us.
And inclusive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Curvy girl.
You know, the other great thing about it is that, you know, the Fabulous Fit collection not only includes those of us that are plus size, but those of us who are plus size and tall.
because it makes a difference.
Yes.
And some of us have long legs and long arms. We're not just fabulously curved, but we're also long.
Right.
And so I appreciate that.
And I think too, by having us integrated with everyone else, it's making society understand that we're women too, that we shouldn't have to be separated by our size. So it's forcing people to be more accepting of women that may not be a size 2 or 3.
That's right.
That is correct. You know, because
That's
the
right.
average size is size 16. What you think about that? Because they were all thinking, they had us all thinking we were like outside of that average.
Right.
And we
Did
are
they
the
change that
average.
number?
Yeah,
Has
that's
it always been? It hasn't
No.
always been.
No,
Okay.
it used to be 14.
Okay.
So now it's 16.
Okay.
You know,
So
so
that
we're
means
going
we
up.
eating more.
Right. We're eating more. Absolutely. So today's sponsor for Smooches in the City is Makeup Forever. And if you want to reach us and we'll talk about our topic a little further, you may reach us at www.smoocheswoman.com. And as always, Smooches in the City is a place where curves are
Bold.
Confident.
And beautiful.
Smooches.